Thanks, everybody. Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Ricky Camilleri, and our next guest is a hilarious comedian and actress, and you've seen in shows like Love, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Alone Together, and now you can see Esther Povitsky in the fantastic new Hulu show, Dollface. Let's take a look.
Jules, what did you do?
Over vacation? I binged like 4 seasons of Friday Night Lights.
Oh, no, we were talking about what we did this morning. Oprah says the morning is crucial to set your intention for the day.
Oprah makes me want to kill myself.
You don't like Oprah?
No, I meant it in the good way.
Oh, yeah.
Say it. I feel like we never catch up.
I know. I feel like the last time I saw you was at the company Christmas party. Oh my God, are you still dating that cute guy you brought?
Oh, yeah, I remember him. You guys were completely adorable together.
We actually just broke up.
Oh my God, honey, you were way too good for him. I could totally tell.
We didn't technically meet, but I always got a bad vibe from him. Honestly, I think he was a psycho.
If he dumped you, he must be gay. He's probably a gay psycho.
Everybody, please put your hands together for Esther Povitsky. Let's hear it. Hey. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Congrats on the new show.
Thank you.
It's fantastic. I love it. I've seen a few episodes of it. Your character is hilariously overconfident and broken.
Yes, I like to refer to her as what my dad called her, which is another loser desperate to be accepted.
Why another?
Because that's what I've played in 2 other TV shows.
I mean, that's what I assumed, but I didn't want to make
That's polite.
Yeah. What 2 other TV?
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Right.
I played Maya, who was kind of kooky, really wanted to fit in, was like low-key obsessed with Rachel. Yes, Rachel. Yeah. That's her character's name, right? Rebecca, sorry, it's been a minute. And then in Alone Together, I played myself. So there you have it.
Who your dad refers to as
another loser desperate to be accepted. Cool vibe. It's kind of true though.
Is it?
Yeah, like everyone is that.
Like if you are not desperate to be accepted in some way, shape, or form, I don't think you're human.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's not maybe past the age of 50. That's when you stop.
Do you really think?
God damn it! I hope so. I can't live with this for that much longer.
I know, just waiting it out.
Yeah. You are a stand-up, right?
Yes.
How old were you when you started doing stand-up?
I started stand-up around, I think, 21. And so I've been doing it for 10 years. And I just shot my first special for Comedy Central.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
thank
incredible.
you. Yes, we've been editing it. We finished it up next week. And it should come out sometime in 2020.
Where'd you shoot it?
We shot it at Dynasty Typewriter, which is an intimate venue in downtown Los Angeles. And yeah, I'm like, it's kind of, I call it like a jeans and a t-shirt kind of venue. Like it's kind of small, has like a grunge to it, which is kind of my vibe for stand-up. So I didn't want to be like fancy. I wanted to be like losery.
In this scenario, it's a loser who doesn't really care if she fits in or
That's
not.
right, yeah.
The loser's venue.
It's actually an amazing venue.
We love this venue.
It's like the New York Times just wrote it up. It's actually very, very special.
Yeah, we don't want to accidentally shit on this venue. It sounds like a great place.
It is.
What made you start doing stand-up? Did people tell you that you were funny? Did you feel funny? How did it work?
You know, I think so. I studied dance for a long time growing up, and I always thought, oh, I'll be a professional dancer. Very delusional. And then when I majored in dance in college, I remember just one day being really bored in my class and thinking like, it's kind of weird that I chose a career where I don't speak. And then I learned that the thing that I loved so much about dance class was going to class and making my friends laugh. And I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna kind of rearrange and redirect here. And that's kind of how I fell into stand-up.
Can I ask, what was it like when you left a room that it was potentially kind of easy to be the funniest person in the room and went to stand up and were around lots of other funny people? Did you recognize that, or did it feel good right away?
I never really like assessed that, because I've never been one to feel insecure when I'm around funny people. That always like elevates me, and I feel inspired by that. I think that's actually one of the great benefits of being in comedy is you get to be around funny people. And early on, that's some of the advice that I got was like, always hang around people who are funnier than you, because that's how you get funnier. So I never really noticed that in like kind of a change of pace. I don't know. It just was always a positive or something like that. But yeah.
But did you feel like you were the funniest person around all the other dancers?
I've never felt like I was the funniest, but maybe the most willing to act up.
The one who finds something funny to say or is thinking funny more so than others.
The one who
probably.
wants it, the one who can't just like be happy with their pirouette, but the one that also needs to like
Make fun of it as she does it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was it like the first time you did stand up?
The first time, I don't have any like momentous first time doing it. I feel like I hear that a lot. But for me, it was not like, oh, I'm going to try it and then I got the bug. It was more like I have the bug before I tried it, so I'm just going for it. And I know I was bad for a long time. I think most people are. And so it was more just about like going through the motions of like getting on stage, writing jokes, trying jokes, failing over and over again. And that time in my life where I was just starting out was very rewarding and exciting and fun. And I was, very tired and up till like 3 a.m. and crazy stuff like that.
Just doing shows all night?
Yeah.
Clubs?
Yeah, I really like adapted that like lifestyle of staying up really late. And I remember my mom would tell her friends like, oh, my daughter dropped out of college and she's doing stand-up. She's out till 2 a.m. And all of her friends were like, I think your daughter's on drugs. And my mom was like, I don't know. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm too scared of that. But everyone did.
Was she bragging to them when she was describing that you had done this? Or
I
was
don't
it
know
more like, oh my God, my daughter dropped out of college?
Probably more that, yeah. Probably a lot of shame.
How
and
did that go when you told them?
Really bad. I was relatively a good kid growing up. I never, I always liked to stay at home. I don't really do anything fun. I've never been like a fun person. That's a good thing to advertise. And then when I came home from school one week and I was like, I'm dropping out, it was kind of the first big bombshell, like, oh my God, she wants to do something that we don't approve of. And it was really difficult and they really didn't want me to. And I just kind of put my foot down and was like, I was really depressed in college. It was kind of the first time I'd ever really experienced depression. And I just kind of came to my breaking point, was like, this is not for me. I think the thing that made college so hard for me was that I was around so many people that loved it and were having fun and loved sorority. I went to a Big Ten school, University of Illinois. A lot of drinking and partying and stuff like that. And being around everyone else who's enjoying themselves when you're not is like, makes it so much worse. Because you're like, oh, there's something wrong with me. I'm the problem, which I often am.
Is that true? College does that, but college does that to people. I remember it wasn't necessarily my experience, but I remember lots of experiences around me of people who just were not enjoying or experiencing the same thing as us and just completely losing touch with that whole place.
Interesting. Yeah, that was me.
That was you?
Yeah.
So how does one audition to be the, how did your dad describe it?
Loser desperate to be accepted. Oh man, is that going to be like the name of my t-shirt company one day?
Loser desperate to be accepted?
I
like that.
Yeah, it's got a really pretty ring to it.
It's a bit clunky, but it works.
Yeah.
Have you found that after playing one part like that or two parts like that you get like auditions for that a lot, that you get called for stuff like that?
Oh, that's a good question. I never noticed any too strong of patterns for my auditions, but certainly those are the roles I'm booking, so there's that.
What is your process like when it comes to writing stand-up? Are you the type that sort of gets on stage and starts talking and then sort of compiles it afterwards, or are you writing as you get to the stage?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of both. So my favorite way is to just go on stage and kind of talk nonsense, but that is a little bit harder to do because I'm not really doing open mics anymore, and people are coming to see me, and so I feel a little bit more pressure of like, I have to actually tell like jokes
you have to entertain them.
Yeah. I can't just talk about like my yeast infection. So
that said, a solid like 10-minute dry run about a yeast infection would make me laugh.
Yes, it wouldn't be dry.
I set it up. I set it up, Esther.
We're a good duo. But so yeah, I like to go on stage and just kind of like talk, and then a lot of times like just more sit and thinking than like actually writing or typing. It's like the notes app in your phone and just like, oh wait, that's interesting. Like
Bullet points basically for you to like riff on when you get up.
Yeah. And like last night I was at dinner and I was with my fiance talking about how neither of us have any similar interests. And I was like, that's kind of funny. Like we chose to spend our lives together, but like we have nothing in common. And he was like, that's not funny. Don't talk about that.
What are your
Here we are.
What are your interests and what are his?
Oh God.
Sorry. I mean, I know he said don't talk about it, but now I'm genuinely curious.
We're like hacky, like man and woman. Like I love female pop music and makeup, and he loves like sports. Like that's really it.
Just basic, like the basic difference
Yes.
that you would see in like a car commercial.
Yeah. For two creative people, we're really not very. Anyways.
You want to talk more about that? By the time that you get to a special, how much have you honed sort of your material on stage?
Oh my gosh. Well, I did my first special after doing stand-up for 10 years. So I really do think that was like 10 years of work into
the best of the material. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously most of it was written in the last year, but certainly a good amount of it is over the course of the last 10 years. And yeah, this summer I went on a tour and I spent that whole tour refining the hour, which was fun to have a specific task at hand when I was going on stage and have direction. But it also started to feel a little stifling, like, oh God, like I couldn't like do that thing where you get up and talk about nonsense at all. And I found that actually the week after I taped my special, I wrote 5 new minutes of material. And then like after that, I haven't written anything since, but I felt like after practicing the same stuff over and over again, like stuff was just building up inside of me.
So by the time you're shooting the special, it's fairly honed in.
Oh, yeah.
Almost like word for word what you're doing on stage.
Pretty much, yeah. 90%, I would say, yeah.
And was it strange to find yourself, or was it hard to make yourself comfortable with doing that, considering that the way that you formulate your jokes and start off is with riffing on stage a little bit?
Yeah, it was not what I was used to. And it's less fun when you're like going up and rehearsing as opposed to going up and experimenting and finding. So it was definitely a new muscle that like was harder to.
It's kind of like the main muscle though, because the whole idea of the craft is making something feel spontaneous.
100%, yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah, and when it's not spontaneous to you anymore, how do you do that?
Right, like that's the job, is just like making it exciting when it's really not.
How did you find that you did that though?
How did I find that I did that? I just did
Don't
it.
rephrase my questions back to me. It's embarrassing.
No, I'm like thinking, I don't know, like, because I can't be like, I did it great. You know, I just did it. I did it.
You just did it and sort of, I mean, you're looking to make yourself funny to you while you're performing.
I guess.
And your joke's still being funny to you.
Yeah.
Right? Because you want to look like, you want to have a good time
You have
in
to
front
have
of your
fun.
audience.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're not up there having fun, it's kind of like you're just a robot.
Does it become a form of acting?
Yeah. Yeah. And I find those things are good cross training for one another. You know, acting, podcasting, stand up, they all do help each other out.
You're constantly working the muscles, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found that getting on stage on the weekends while we were shooting Dollface, I would go to the Comedy Store like Saturday, Sunday, and I found that helped me bring like an energy each week when we were shooting.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of energy? What do you mean?
Just like when you're on stage doing stand-up, it's your responsibility to make people in that room laugh. And so just having that like practice over the weekend and bringing that to set, I just felt it helped me. I don't know.
Right, you're comfortable performing in that vein,
Yeah.
basically. Right?
Yeah.
Like at that point, you're trying to make the crew laugh.
No, I don't do that because, well, I mean, you'd hope so, but
It's almost impossible.
no, you don't want to like ruin a take, and you also don't want to go for laughs that aren't usable in the show. But yeah, I mean, making.
Oh, that's true, right? Do you mean that like so often what's funny to the crew or the laughs that you would get on set are not necessarily what's funny in the editing room, and that you should generally stick to the beats of the script?
I think it can be. I think it can go either way. I've seen it go both ways.
Right.
Yeah.
What is it like working with Kat Dennings?
Oh my God, she's so cool. I mean, this whole cast, they're all so funny, so smart, so experienced. They were such a dream to work with. I felt like, we're all similar ages and like all very different, but yet all like similar and want the same thing. And it was just a really fun experience working in a group of 4 women. We're like, we would always say that Kat and Brenda were like Grace and Frankie, like the 2 little old ladies running around set doing crazy stuff. And then me and Shay were just like the dead bodies. Like we would just, when we weren't shooting, we would just kind of like lay there like, oh, what are you eating? Oh, okay. Like,
are there dead bodies on Grace and Frankie? Like, oh, sorry, Martin Sheen and Sam Waterston. Those are the dead bodies. Maybe.
Yeah.
You're the Martin Sheen and the Waterston of Dollface.
Why, thank you.
It's also we talked to we had the creator of the show on here. She was saying that it was a predominantly female crew, and
It was.
most of the people working on it were women. What was that like?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was just such a safe, wonderful space, and we had a lot of the same crew too from my last show Alone Together, which was actually just particularly comforting for me to have people around that I knew and was so like, just felt close to. And Jordan was amazing. I watched your interview with her. It was really good.
Oh, thanks.
She's, so like bright and smart and funny. And I feel like it's nice to have a young female creator because I don't often read a script and feel like, oh, that's me represented on the page. And because of her, like I found that, which was really nice.
It's also, I don't know. I think it's strange. And maybe it's not always strange, but to be a young woman and to walk onto a set that is mostly made up of men, which is often the case, and the men are creators. And I know that this has become kind of a cliche talking point to say this, but like it is a strange environment to create and perform in and to feel power. Like to perform, you have to have a certain amount of power within yourself. Mm-hmm. And to have that power, it can be kind of difficult in what is ostensibly always a boys' club.
Totally. Yeah. Especially like in stand-up. I experienced that showing up to the comedy clubs. And 10 years ago, more so, like it was really male-driven and male-dominated. And that's changing a little bit, I would say. But yeah, that is challenging. And like I think that's actually why over the last few years, I've gotten really into like makeup and girly stuff because I felt like so in this boys club and this boys arena that I ended up starting a makeup podcast just to like escape it, which wasn't normally who I was, but I felt like the pendulum swung one way and then swung back the other to like girly girl who likes pink.
For me, it swung the other way. I got into Reddit and like men's rights stuff. No, sorry. We have time for some audience questions. Who has a question?
Hey, how are you?
Hey.
Thank you for being here. What inspired you to go from stand-up into an acting career?
Oh, that's a good question. I'd always kind of wanted to do both things. So I felt like someone once gave me the advice that like this career is a little bit like a board game and there's so many paths to get to where you want to go. And so that kind of inspired me to be open to everything. And so when I moved to LA, I was like, I'll audition for every student film. I'll do every open mic, and I just was really open to doing anything. Granted, I never was cast in a single student film to the point where I thought they were myths. And then when my girlfriends from college started moving out and they were cast in student films, I was like, that's real? Like, those are real? So, yeah, that's basically.
One more.
Hi, Esther.
Hi.
It seems like you had such a wonderful experience on Dollface with filming and with your crew, and I'm wondering if there's a prop that you could take home with you, what would you choose to take?
Oh my God, all of the furniture in the womb offices. I don't know if you like that furniture is so nice and classy and like soothing. I want all of that. I want my whole house to look like womb. It's very cool.
It's very minimal, right?
Yeah. But like feminine.
Yeah.
that's probably a hard prop to steal.
Pull up with a moving truck and like 4 guys get out and start moving stuff. Yeah.
That would be very chic of me.
I love the show. Congratulations.
Thank
I'm looking
you.
forward to your special, which you
Thank
said is coming
you.
out next year. There's no date or anything
Not
on
yet,
that, right?
but sometime in 2020 on Comedy Central.
And Dollface is currently running on Hulu. Everybody give Esther a huge round of applause
Thank
for being
you.
here. Let's hear it.
Thanks, you guys.